Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Siwei. First of all, I have to apologize. My English is far from good. All of the text in our channel, I wrote it in Chinese first and then I translated into English. So it is challenging for me to recording things like this, but I still want to give it a try. The reason why is I want everyone to know more about me, to understand me more, about why I'm making this channel. And I'm sure there are a lot of misunderstanding, and generally nowadays a lot of people, they would suggesting that study philosophy is wasting time, because why don't you just enjoy life? Why don't you just be happy with somebody you love, with all you have in life? Why you think too much? You will just put you in thoughts and you will never be happy. That is why I think it's necessary for me to explain this in front of the camera. So I'm not sure in the future if I will make this program continuously, but I want to give it a try for the first time. To me, I think different philosophies are just like different rivers, but eventually they all flow into the same ocean of truth. I know that there are a lot of different paths in this world, different religions, different philosophies, different theories in science. But what is common there? What is the mutual thing here is that we all pursued that one truth. As long as we have this faith, as long as we're searching for the same thing, I believe we eventually will meet each other again in that ocean of truth. Therefore, in the journey of seeking for truth, I believe comparatively study different philosophy with mutual understanding and respect. Be humble. This will benefit us the most. The first question is, why are we studying philosophy? What is the benefit? People do things for benefit. If I do such thing, I can get good benefits from it, I will do. If I don't, I will stop. If I do these things, I get the bad result, I will stop doing it and I will avoid doing it. This is logical. About philosophy, why we studying it? Actually, there is an answer. The answer is because everyone wants to understand who we really are. Everyone wants happiness. Everyone wants freedom. Free from what? Free from your own bondage. Free from your own suffering. And that is the goal of philosophy. Also the goal of religion. But for now, we don't go that far yet. In India philosophy tradition, they consider philosophy is the path to moksha. Moksha means liberation, and liberation is considered to be the most important thing in life. Humans' goal is to achieve liberation, because everyone wants that freedom, wants that happiness, and want to be liberated. In Western tradition, philosophy is more emphasis on logic and rationality. That is why science so developed through the history of Western world, because they practice their logical thinking and rationality through the process of science and philosophy. And that is something we should also appreciate. So we can say that Eastern and Western philosophy, they're quite different, but doesn't mean they don't have commonality. That is why we need to study them. So now we go to the question, why we study it? Because we want liberation, because we want freedom and happiness, because we want to pursue wisdom, and we want to have logical thinking and rationality. This is the goal of study philosophy. It's not a goal we can achieve in short term, or we can just get the benefits in short term. But in long term, everyone will see the benefits about study philosophy. So the second question is, some people say the more you know, the less happy you are. Is ignorance really a bliss? A lot of people think so. Do you think so? Let me know. About this, India philosophy have a lot to say. Basic understanding is that ignorance is the source of suffering. Everyone in this world, the reason why they suffer, they feel unhappy, they feel anxious, they feel jealous, is because they are ignorant. That's why ignorance to them is not a bliss at all. Ignorance to them is the source of suffering. That means if a person can remove their ignorance, they can be ultimately happy. That is why they call the ultimate happiness is liberation, is moksha. So what Western philosophy talk about it? Well, there is a saying that ignorance is bliss. But generally, philosophy would suggest that wisdom is the path to happiness. That means ignorance is not going to be the path to happiness, but to suffering. Same as India philosophy. So, you see, Western and Eastern philosophy both suggest that ignorance is not bliss. That's why we study philosophy. Now, let's go to the third question. The third major question we're going to discuss about is the challenge of study philosophy. The path of seeking truth. Why is so difficult? Actually, what traps us is not something else. It's our own mind. So what is the biggest challenge of study philosophy? I would say it's dualistic thinking. What is dualistic thinking? Is always separate things as black and white, east and west. All of this separation eventually will just separate us from the path towards truth to guide us to somewhere nowhere. So it's very important that we need to keep an open mind. When you say black, you should also consider white. When you say east, you should also appreciate west. When you consider this thing as absolute right, you also need to hear other side of story. This kind of attitude is what we need when we study philosophy. Otherwise, a person could easily go to become extreme. And if you become extreme about something, you will build a very strong attachment that will guide you far from the truth. I always appreciate the middle way. It's the correct attitude towards truth. Today, we discussed 3 major questions, but they are just the beginning of the journey of philosophy. In the future, I wish I have the honor to share more with you, to discuss more with you. I know that my English is far from good. And actually, I did write down about what I want to express in the text. But now I'm struggling because the limitation of my language. But I'm still trying here. I want you to know that I'm sincere and I'm serious about the journey of philosophy, the journey of seeking for truth. I hope we can seeking for truth together. And I never thought it's something crazy or weird, or why don't you just be like others? Philosophy is something too strange or abstract. I never think in that way. I'm proud that I love it, and I'm proud that I'll pursue it, and I will always walking on this path. Thank you for your time.